All right, looks like we're gonna call this meeting, August 19th, 2021 to order at 7:01 PM. Do the roll call. Jonathan Kastner,
I'm here.
Alan Parody,
I'm here.
Dan Reinheimer.
Here.
Marion Stay,
Here,
and Christy Stroud. So I'm gonna seat Stan and Bruce Edgerton's seat and Marion and Krista Rozier's seat. And my name's Tony Bullock. Let's see, moving on to acceptance of applications. So there's actually two of them on here. These are just for acceptance and to set a public hearing. The first one is application for revision to special permit for 439 Main Street, applicant Robert Galbraith. So again, just looking to set the public hearing for September 9th. They're looking for additional outdoor seating. Looking for a motion.
Tony, I'll
Move to
move to
accept-
accept. Oh, go ahead, Marion.
okay, sorry. Move to accept the application and set a public hearing for September.
9th.
I'll second that.
All right. Jonathan,
Aye.
Dan,
Yes.
fantastic. All right, you guys are all set for September 9th. The second one is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is, we talked about this before, the Teske, he's converting a single family home to a two-family dwelling at 61 Main Street. Same thing, except set a public hearing for September 9th.
I'll make the motion, Stan.
Thank you, Stan. Good for a second.
Second,
Thank you, Marion. All right, Alan,
Yes.
Jonathan,
Yes.
ready? You are all set for September 9th also. See you guys then. And let's go on to the next one. Let's see, we are on to public hearing. So we're going to open this public hearing at 7:03 PM. And first on the agenda is the zoning text amendment application for the self-storage. They actually put a letter forward asking that we bump them till September 9th. So just to be formal, looking for motion to continue.
motion to continue to September 9th.
For a second.
I'll second, Tony.
Thank you, Alan. Stan
Yes.
and Jonathan.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Next on the agenda, special permit application in agritourism and activities, 574 Winthrop Road, applicant Spruce Ledge Enterprises LLC. Is there an applicant here for this? Anyone? Already. Okay, well, that's interesting. I don't know what to do at this point. I mean, we have letters, but I don't want to continue this without them here.
How about continuing it to later in the meeting, just in case they show up?
Okay.
And if not, continue to September 9th?
All right.
Hey, and Tony, since we're bumping self-storage to September 9th, do you need me at this current time, or do you want?
I didn't even know you snuck in here, but nope, we're good. We'll need you September 9th.
You got it. Great.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
everybody.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Nick.
Let's see, the zoning regulation reformatting. I'm pretty sure planning and zoning is all aware of that, with adding the zone charts and a couple of definitions. There's discussion. Anybody from the public have questions?
Tony, would it make sense to, since we have members of public here, at least show the change to the format?
Yep.
Do you have an example of that, or you just
Yeah, you know what? Let me
clarify the ease of use with the new format?
get to that in the regulations here. If I can move all this stuff off my screen. Here's a good one. So we just went to a basically a cheat sheet. So if you're in the, let's just give an example, if you're in the village mixed use, you could just take these couple of pages instead of having to go to, before it was two different sections, what was allowed, what wasn't allowed. And then all your requirements were in a totally separate section. So they've all been combined into separate sheets, like your net buildable area for village mixed use is 15,000 square feet. You know, and if you wanted to build multifamily, it's a special exception. You know, pretty simple on the format. Again, if anybody from the public has any questions or comments or.
Tony, this is Christine Nucci.
Hey,
So where do we find this? Is this going to be in the new zoning regulation
Yep.
tab on the website?
it will be once, if it gets approved.
Okay,
Right now, if you wanted to get a copy, if you go to, I'll just show you guys real quick. So, on the agenda, right here where it says meeting materials may be found here.
Yep.
If you click that link, you will see all the materials for tonight's public hearing, including the zoning regulations.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yep.
On page 33,
Mm-hmm.
27,
Yep.
age restricted development.
Yes, so I cannot find an answer.
Oh,
to-
okay.
In village commercial, whether it is not allowed or a special exception. So I mean, I've had everybody look for this. We've gone back through and there is no definitive answer. So I've
What
left
is it?
I've
what
left
does
it
it
as it
mean?
was. I'm sorry,
What does it mean? Age restricted, age,
55 and older, excuse me, 55 and older is a good example.
oh, for like housing?
Yes.
Okay.
So what do? Can we choose one of them?
Well, I was gonna save that for a totally different hearing, since we are gonna go back through these for, you know, as we work on the plan of conservation development.
Okay.
And, you know, with our little group that we're going on.
Mhm.
So this will have to have its own public hearing.
Okay,
So Tony, if this is going to be published, accepted and published,
Yep.
I think it becomes ambiguous to have the or in there, but if we're not, if we don't have proof that it is a permissible use.
Yep.
By default, it is not permitted, correct?
That's right. That's a good point.
So for the purposes of adopting this version of the regulations, this format, would it make sense then to, at this point, show it as not permitted as opposed to X or SE and
Okay.
remove that ambiguity?
So I'm assuming you're gonna make that condition later on when we go to approve these. But I'll make note of it, page 33, X.
Again, I mean, if this, it's, if we can clarify it sooner, but that would be my
Yeah.
position. If there's something that is ambiguous, then it becomes kind of a, we exclude it from adopting.
Okay, great.
So-
Right, any other commission members or public? Right. Hearing none. Looking for a motion to close the public hearing for this application.
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Thank you, Ellen. For a second,
I second.
thank you, Marion. Jonathan,
Yes, indeed.
thank you, and Stan.
Yes.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go back and check on Spruce Ledge. Okay. All right, I guess we're gonna have to continue this because we're gonna be moving out of the public hearing. So looking for a motion to continue this until September 9th.
So moved.
Thanks, Dan. For a second,
I'll second that.
thank you, Ellen. Jonathan?
Tony,
was-
actually, before we close,
Yeah.
there was something that came in a chat. It looks like somebody might have
Oh, all right.
I would like to-
That was my motion, Tony.
Okay. Well, they are under a stop order from the zoning enforcement officer, so they're not supposed to be continuing with that. And I believe the last time they were here, they said they would not continue with that.
Can I just ask for clarification who the question is coming from? It says MacBook Pro.
Anyone? Don't think you're getting that one.
Okay.
All right.
I would ask that question through messaging in case they're not able to hear or they're hearing impaired.
Christine, I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Yeah, now we have to figure out how to do that. Tony, this is on you.
Thanks. Oh, if they are having issues with the microphone.
Yeah.
Thank God you guys can't see me typing. Oh, but they'd asked to stay anonymous. They're not supposed to be proceeding
I'm sorry, they're not supposed to be what?
with any concerts, as they do have a cease and desist from the zoning enforcement officer.
That's correct, but I think we can still have their application. Although
they-
I also have a question.
Yep, well, they were asking if they could continue with concerts.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, anyway, Marion, go ahead.
The letter from,
Bobby Ginder.
I'm sorry, who?
Bob Ginder?
Yes.
Yep,
Raised an issue about acreage.
I agree.
And that seems like a pretty significant issue. Obviously, it would be good if the applicant was here, because I don't know if that back parcel is owned by them or not.
I checked on this today. That back parcel is owned by a separate owner.
Okay, so this is a bit of a conundrum.
Right, especially with nobody here. That's why I was gonna just let it continue and deal with it when they actually show up.
Okay,
Do we have a motion for that? I forgot where we're at this point. All right, so we're
Yeah.
looking, go ahead.
A motion to continue to September 9th.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
She beat you, Alan.
Yeah, it's all right.
Sorry.
Anything to make this go quicker, I'm all in favor of.
Jonathan? Oh, he might be off again. Alan?
Yes.
If he's off, I'll rule in favor of postponing this. All right, moving along. Audience to citizens. Citizens may address the commission on items that are not on the agenda. So if you have anything that's come up, I would love to hear from
I have a comment.
you. Who is
Jane
it?
Samuels, 24 Elm Street,
Yep.
East River. I want to know why in this area we need storage units.
Jane,
I have,
Jane,
I'm right in the middle of town.
I know, but I have to, it's only for, right now it's only for stuff that's not on the agenda. You have to come back in September to address item A on our public hearing. Sorry to cut you
Or
off.
write a letter.
Or write a letter, I'm sorry. Anyone else?
Tony,
Yep.
it's Christine again. So some of these topics on your agenda look like they would also, it would also be a good idea to have them addressed during the joint commission
Mhm.
meetings. Do you bring them? Like, will they be brought to that, a conversation just to get feedback from all of the commissions?
So we did reach out, I don't know if you saw earlier, but Nick Carnacki was here. So we did reach out to EDC about this. So it's not a requirement to go to the joint meeting. If it does, all these applications should be reviewed by wetlands to make sure they don't have any wetlands on there. Stuff that is being added to our zoning regulations would have to go to EDC. We're gonna have something else on here tonight about some signs, which goes to the design advisory. So we do kind of weed through this stuff and send them to their needed places.
But are conversations happening at that joint commission? Like even with like conservation, the merchants?
So, I try and bring up everything that we've looked at, talked about. Hopefully EDC usually sees this stuff before we do. So that's kind of they bring it to us and we go, oh, this is great. We know this is coming. We can do our due diligence. But it's not required. So somebody could, if it is in our zoning regulations, they can just show up and go, hey, this is in here. This is what we want to do. So there's no format to push them back unless it's in our regulations.
Or to put it on the agenda for the joint commission meetings. Like it wouldn't go on there. Somebody has to bring it.
Yes.
Okay.
Christian, just to clarify too, typically at the joint meetings, anything that is before the commissions, of significance is usually, brought up. We're addressing this. This is the context of it. And so it does kind of prompt discussion if it affects any of the other commissions, boards, or areas of interest.
Right. I just thought it's a good opportunity just to get feedback, right, about the other stakeholders, from the other stakeholders.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else from the audience? All right. There are none. Moving on to approval of the minutes. Let's see if I can close some of this stuff. I might be able to find the minutes. All right. Approval of minutes from the July 15th, 2021. Assuming you guys have all read this, look for errors and all the good stuff.
I thought that looked good. I found one typo. There was a repeated word, and I'm looking for it in my version now. Some reason it's not showing up on my screen. Yes, and Tony, in the first paragraph, acceptance of applications, in the middle of that paragraph says the commission has the same position, reduction in fees. I think it was intended to say regarding reduction in fees.
Okay. I agree.
I don't think it changes any of the meaning, just.
Oh, I think you're correct. So that's motion to.
So, yes, with that correction, I'd make a motion to accept the minutes with that one correction.
All right, looking for a second.
I'll second it, Stan.
Thank you, Stan. Jonathan,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes,
all right. And it's approved. All right, we're looking at new business. There's a couple of things. First, I don't know if you've all heard, but Bruce Edgerton has resigned from the commission. And with that, he was a member of the Rivercott Regional Planning Commission. So now that he is gone, we're looking someone to fill that spot. So volunteers.
Tony, who is able to fill that position? Does it have to be a commissioner, or it can be a member of the public at large?
So planning and zoning appoints someone from planning and zoning. And there's I am actually the alternate, and I was appointed by the Board of Selectmen. So the Board of Selectmen can appoint anyone. Planning and zoning has to appoint a member of the commission. So to be honest
Can
with
he
you,
appoint you as the representative
you could,
versus an alternate?
yep.
And how would you like to do that, Tony?
Yes.
I mean, up until last year, I went to every meeting anyway, so, you know,
Oh, so-
COVID kind of put a weird spin.
Sounds perfect.
So if that's what you guys want to do, I'm fine with that. And that puts the alternate back in the Board of Selectmen's court.
Can we vote on it? How do we?
Yeah, sorry.
Because I second it, second the nomination.
All right, I don't know who made it.
Alan did, I think.
Oh,
Did Alan?
all right,
If I didn't, I will. How's
all
that?
right. So
Let's,
Jonathan,
Aye.
thanks. And Stan,
Absolutely.
thank you. All right, I appreciate it, guys. Moving on.
we appreciate it, Tony.
Yes, we do.
All right,
We realize the commitment it takes, and we certainly.
I'm gonna recommend all of you for,
Okay,
so. Let's see, where do we leave off? New business. There is make sure I get the right one. Okay, so there is a new business moving into, I lost the address here. Let's just say into Deep River. And they are looking to do a sign. I don't know if you guys have seen the sign in front of one of the 3 ice cream shops, well, 2 of the 3 ice cream shops. Anyway, the Design Advisory Board asked us to take a look at whether or not a temporary sign was something that Design Advisory, that we kick back to Design Advisory. I looked and didn't see anything in the regulations, but just to make sure, I'd throw it out to you guys. Again, this is just a temporary sign, and it wasn't kicked back when we did the ice cream shop, but they're just being, you know, doing their due diligence. So if you guys would eyeball the regs, or if you know that I missed something.
as I do not believe there's anything in there that defines what a temporary sign would be, which would, stipulate the duration, et cetera.
Right.
A lot of these temporary signs or banners do end up being permanent installations.
Right.
And it's probably because of a lack of that definition of what is permanent or what is temporary and what would require to be regulated. So I think maybe it's identified kind of something we need to clarify in our regulations and define a temporary sign, but also put some restrictions on that, because you could certainly kind of overpopulate with temporary signs.
I
But
agree.
it seems that, and I just throw it out there as just for comment, that we would want to limit the duration of temporary signage for a period of 2 months. And just as we have a square footage requirement, or metrics for how big permanent signs can be, we'd want to do the same thing for temporaries, because it certainly does go to the perception and the visibility of other businesses. So I think it's absent from our regulations, but I think we need to move in a direction of putting something in place.
I agree. Yeah, all right. So at the moment, I don't think we kick it. There's nothing that I've seen that goes back to them, but I agree with you 100% that it's something that should be updated in our regulations. I don't think we need a motion. I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of all that.
I guess the other thing I would comment too is that in regard to design review,
Mhm.
that although signage is required to be reviewed by Design Advisory Board and the Village District, I would not put the requirement of temporary signage to be reviewed by design review, because typically they're gonna be, standard signs that are purchased and not necessarily designed for the context. So if you want to go back to Dan, and I don't know how the rest of the commission feels about this, is that once we have temporary signage defined, that it would not require a design review.
Alrighty. Anybody else have anything to add to that?
Can I also, since we kind of opened up the topic of design review,
Mhm.
I think that something came out in the email, which was one applicant was sent to design review, and the business adjacent to them with signage was not sent for design review. I think we really need to maybe revisit, and if not, just revisit, clarify what triggers a design review. I mean, there's been several projects in town in the past that we realized were supposed to go to design review and did not, and were approved by the zoning commission without that review. Just like all of our regulations, we need to be consistent in the application of those requirements, and the design review is a stipulated requirement for the village districts. So, and maybe it's a conversation with our ZEO. I think the ZEO makes a determination as to whether, to when it comes. But I'd suggest that maybe we have that as a put that on the agenda for the next meeting, is discussion of those triggers.
Yeah.
And either move in a direction of saying that, all of them go, or we just be very clear in the determination.
Okay. And I will make sure that makes it to the agenda for next time. Anything else, anybody like to add? If not,
Wait, is the public allowed to add?
nope. This is
No.
only during public
Right,
hearings or,
fine.
sorry. There are openings on the planning and zoning commission, by the way, everyone on here. There's actually 4 openings at the moment. All right, anyway, now that I plugged planning and zoning. Old business, zoning, can't do that. Spruce Ledge, can't do that. Zoning regulations and reformatting. Any discussion on this? Besides page 33, number 27. If there is or is not, I'm looking for a motion to approve, and I'm assuming with that correction.
Tony, I don't have them in front of me, so I can't scroll through to see if there were any other items that were highlighted as
That was the only-
ambiguities. If that's the only one, then I have nothing further to
Okay.
add.
You'll need that motion.
So I would move to accept the zoning regulation reformatting with the correction that the age restricted development be clarified as being not permitted in this current version.
Okay, and just to add to that, I think it would give it an effective date of what was September 1st. Just to put that on the motion.
Yep.
All right, looking for a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Stan. Jonathan,
yes,
thank you. Marion,
Yes,
all right, motion approved.
actually, it was a good job.
What's that?
Oh, it was a good job. It really does help.
The cheat sheets, thank you. Let's see, plan of conservation and development. Not sure, we haven't changed anything on there, so I'm not sure why that's on there. I mean, we are working on that, but we haven't done anything the last month or so, so it's probably just a holdover. Reports, zoning enforcement officer, I kind of chit chatted with him today. even though he's on vacation, well, they're both on vacation, but I spoke with John. The big thing that they are in the final stages of getting the GIS approved, they're down to the last two. The assessor, John and Mike all agree on one, and they're finalizing their selling points to the Board of Selectmen. So hopefully next month we will have a GIS system, or in the works. And that, I mean, that's pretty much it on their end, you know, the normal.
So
thing.
on that GIS system, is it kind of a leased service? Or is
So-
it actual software that would be owned by the town or the commission, or, and is it access to GIS information, you know, pay as you play, or is it just a fixed fee for continued use?
So the initial, so the one that John and Mike are pushing is Main Street GIS. So the other one that is a contender, so both of them you have to pay, and you pay a yearly fee. The alternate one that I know of, the one that John and Mike didn't push for, has a higher fee, and they have a required update a couple times a year, if I remember correctly. The Main Street GIS one, there is no requirement to upgrade, which, I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose. But they would suggest a yearly update, you know, for subdivisions and sales and that kind of thing. But it is pay to play. I've used Main Street GIS quite a bit. They have a lot of options, but it would be online and be available to the public for free. Pay to play by the town. The town pays for it. You can use it for free. Hope that answers what you think. Hope that's what
You
you're-
being who? You being a resident, you being the
Yeah,
commission?
anyone. You know, so like my work uses them quite a bit, but no, any resident or any single individual could go onto the GIS and look up the same, you know, property cards, you know, assessors information. I don't know the detail we're going into. Clinton has all their zoning enforcement on there. Some of the towns have deeds. So I don't know the depth that we're at yet. That's, you know. I think I have to select one before we see how far we're going.
Mhm.
With that, that's all I have for zoning enforcement. Regs committee, I mean, we've clearly got a few things we've got to work out. Hopefully we'll have a discussion about that in the September meeting. Attorney, haven't seen anything. Engineer, I don't even think we've talked to them in the last year. Chairman, I have nothing, and didn't see anything from the budget unless Nancy or Jonathan are hiding anything. Same thing for bills. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I hide nothing.
All right, that's what I like to hear, Jonathan.
And I don't have anything.
All right. On the payment of bills, so same, I'm assuming, and adjournment. Looking for a motion to adjourn at,
So move.
no, everybody wants to stay, 7:34. No,
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion to adjourn.
thanks, Ellen. Second,
Second,
Second.
thanks, Harriet, beat you. Jonathan,
Excuse me, before you
Yes.
guys sign off, can you just tell me the results of Spruce Ledge? I apologize, I was so late in joining your meeting.
we
Um,
had to continue. I'm sorry, we had to continue your hearing until September 9th. To keep things moving along.
and that's because I wasn't in
Yeah.
attendance?
Yeah, we couldn't act without you.
Ah, great, okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So we have a second. Look at Jonathan. Nope, he muted himself. He wants to. Stay.
Yes.
Thank you. That's Stan.
Hi, Yes.
Yep.
I'm Kevin Teskey. I showed up 5 or so minutes late. I gave an application to John today for 61 Main Street. I'm not sure if you guys had seen that. I don't know if you guys went over it in the first couple minutes and I missed it.
We did, and you are on for September 9th.
Okay, great. Thank
All
you.
right?
Yep.
We'll see you then.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. It's been a wild half an hour, but I will see you guys September 9th. Thanks for showing up, and everybody have a good night.
Thank you, Tony.
Good night.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Night.